I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of she was more of the prissy girl that like going
that is
and
the
getting their
best
hair done.
shit fucking
Shopping for
ever.
dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with
Shout out to Cherry for just being easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. evening, folks. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to those of you who were here earlier. We've got a little special edition today. You guys know how I like to if I can catch Turtle Boy on Howie Carr. Kind of made it a bit of a tradition here to do that, but maybe we can make a new tradition as well, because Howie Carr has been having another regular from our community speak regularly on his show, and that would be El Jefe himself, Mr. Sean McDonough from Going Through the Motions. His channel is pinned to the top of the chat. Now, I'm going to share it in a little bit. I mean, I might as well. I already shared it on Twitter, but I was in touch with Josie, and she commented that she was trying to reach out to me. So I reached out to her via direct message, and she got back to me immediately and shared a GoFundMe that was set up by a member of Enrique Delgado Garcia's family. Now, from what I saw, it's already creeping up on $4,000 with a $15,000 goal. And that's just in the first hour. So those of you who donated to this thing, thank you guys so much. I normally don't fuck with GoFundMes, okay? I normally don't, but I trust Josie, and I trust that she is in direct contact with this family, and I don't think that she would have shared this GoFundMe with me unless it was legit. So, it is doing very well so far. So thank you guys, those of you who donated so far. Again, it's almost at $4,000 already, guys. I mean, that is amazing, folks. You guys are amazing. Blown away, just absolutely blown away. Yeah, the link is in my it's in my Twitter, and I just thought of it again, so I forgot to share it here. Let me now Howie Carr is about to. I know Sean is scheduled at 6:05, so let's get through that. Let me grab the link for that, and then I'll share it as soon as the segment on Howie Carr is over. But let me go ahead and share that. Yeah, if you're not on Twitter, yeah, give me just like I said, give me a few minutes and I will grab that and I will share it here and pin that to the top of the chat once this is over.
Skin tones. Seriously, if you've been wanting to check out Raycons, there truly is no better time. And with Raycon's 30-day happiness guarantee, what are you waiting for? Get 15% off plus free shipping. Buy Raycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Are you ready to finally cash out the equity in your real estate? Don't be that person who missed the market. Are you ready to sell on your timeline and under your terms? Are you ready for no haggling, no negotiating, and a straightforward sale? JJ Manning Auctioneers.
There we go. My headphones weren't working. Sorry about that, guys. And I won't subject you guys to the commercials. Howie Carr has a lot of commercials. But as soon as he comes back to commercials, I will share it. And it's over $5,000 now. That is amazing. Wow. You guys are dope.
Mark DiStefano is back, along with his chief of surgery, Dr. Thomas Brand. Together, they formed Northeast Hair Restoration and have pioneered a new groundbreaking procedure called Precision Follicular Extraction, or PFE. The PFE is becoming the gold standard and the most sought-after hair transplant procedure in all of New England. Imagine no shaving, no scalpels, no stitches, no linear scarring, while preserving the natural appearance of your existing hair and delivering transformational results. And just for our listeners, with every PFE procedure, you will get a free laser cap just like the one I use. That's a $3,000 value, free. The laser cap has been shown to speed up the healing process.
Here we go.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Shots fired at Donald Trump's golf club in Florida as a former president was nearby. The Secret Service opening fire after spotting a man with an assault-style rifle. One suspect is now in custody.
Here we go again.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio.
When the American media...
Have you been to Springfield?
Dana, I've been to Springfield probably 100 times in my life.
They're in the park grabbing up ducks and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them.
It's wabbit season.
Duck season.
Wabbit season.
Duck season.
My approach is about new ideas, new policies that are directed at the current moment.
Oh, pain. Oh, agony.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's
Howie Carr.
Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. 844-500-4242. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for the Massachusetts State Police, it has gotten worse. We mentioned this briefly on Friday, and that Sean McDonough, El Jefe, as he's known on YouTube, and
El
he's
Jefe,
a blogger, and he wrote that a member of the 90th class, Enrique Delgado Garcia, had a medical emergency after a boxing match at the New Braintree Academy. It's almost their 26-week training period is almost over. They had a boxing match, and he was pummeled, or he collapsed, and they were trying to keep it quiet. Sean McDonough broke the story online about noon, and around 6:30 on Friday night, after the local newscast had gone off, it's the slowest night of the week for a newscast, they announced that Enrique Delgado Garcia was dead, that he had, at the age of 25, he had died after taking part in this boxing match at the New Braintree State Police Academy in Worcester County. And there are many, many unanswered questions about this. And today, Joe Early, the district attorney of Worcester County, had a press conference, and he said he's looking for an outside person to conduct an investigation of what happened to this recruit who's 25. He didn't want to touch it because Enrique Delgado Garcia had worked in his office as a victim witness advocate, and he probably also didn't want to do it, get involved with it, because he's been involved in several earlier state police scandals. He had to pay $5,000 to a state trooper that he tried to force to change a report on one of his former hack assistant DAs who became a judge. $5,000 fine to settle the case. So it's a dirty situation, but I think there's a lot more here. And Sean McDonough's got a lot of sources
and leave it to Turtle Boy to
in the law enforcement community.
As soon as I'm
so we wanted to talk to him and ask him what's going on here.
Be like, no.
Sean McDonough is again, he's the host of Going Through the Motions. That's his show on YouTube, and his Twitter handle is at Leopardo8. At Leopardo8. Sean McDonough, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Howie, thanks for having me.
So you saw the press conference today. Joe Early pulled a Pontius Pilate. He doesn't want to do anything with it. What do you make of that?
I think it's very telling. If this was an accident, like it's being portrayed by the Massachusetts State Police, I don't see why there would be such a big conflict for him.
Right.
Clearly, it says to me that he already knows the results of that autopsy, even though the report's not out. And he wants to separate himself quickly because of the implications. That's my take on it.
Now they say they have videotape of this event. Now, but it was just a boxing exhibition. It wasn't like John L. Sullivan bare knuckles 90 rounds in Havana, Cuba. He was wearing. We assume he was wearing headgear. He was wearing a mouth protector, probably a groin protection. Yet we're told by the family that he ended up with 3 broken, shattered teeth in the front, a broken neck, and there were other problems as well, right?
Yeah. Essentially, when he was taken in Thursday, he essentially was deceased. He was on life-saving support system the whole time he was in the hospital. And when I got the call at 11 o'clock in the morning on Friday, I was basically told that he was dead. They were keeping it quiet for obvious reasons, but he was also an organ donor. But the 3 broken vertebrae, massive head injuries to the rear of the head, a dislocated shoulder, all kinds of contusions of his body, the broken teeth suggest to me, like a friend of mine said, he must have had, the other opponent must have had brass knuckles in those 16-ounce gloves. I've seen a lot of fighting matches. You see these UFC fighting matches. Now you have the bare knuckle fight club by Conor McGregor. I don't see anybody getting their neck broken. Those guys are vicious.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about this last night with Melanie Little. You got hit over the head once with a beer bottle. I got punched in the mouth during a touch football game and lost a tooth. But I mean, you and I are still alive. You don't get killed in these situations, right?
No, and exactly. And as this story progresses, the more time goes, the more people are reaching out to me. There are 3 families that their loved ones are in the academy. Right now, they're petrified to say anything. Evidently, all the recruits signed an NDA agreement. I mean, an NDA when they first went in, say it lives forever, whether they're on the job or off the job. If they washed out or they stay on through the end of their career. That's a big thing for these 4 recruits 2 weeks before they graduate. Also, allegedly, this was donned as an event. One of the family members said it was the best of the best fight to the finish. And they also said they had retired troopers onlooking this quote unquote event.
Huh.
Someone says boxing match. Is that what they're calling hazing and assault now? I mean, isn't this just? I mean, there's always been hazing, whether it's in college fraternities or in any kind of male-oriented group, right? I mean, is this what this was? Do you think, or what? What were they doing?
Well, the part that is suspicious to me, if you're going to do something like that, it's usually generally within the first month, before people wash out or they need people to wash out. These people are less than 2 weeks from graduation. Why would they have a boxing match when they're going to be taking pictures for the class photo? They want these guys to have busted up lips and black eyes. Generally, this is the time where the class gels together, molds together. They're going to be going out to the world and doing their job. I just don't understand why they would put this type of activity so close to the end.
And there've been other problems with New Braintree. It's way out there. No knock on people who live in that part of Worcester County, but it's way out there.
I mean,
and it's kind of cut off from the rest of the state.
It's not that.
And so they've always had these problems with a little bit of bullying here and there, whether it's people who wouldn't take the COVID shots or other events. But you would think that they would have learned something after the scandals of the last 8 or 9 years.
Right.
Well, in light of the recent year, the spotlight that's shining on the state police, you would think they would be extra cautious. But I do want to say two things, Howie. A medical professional called me and said that the team at the UMass hospital were very upset at the Massachusetts police, the way they framed this incident. and they said it was definitely not an accident, and they considered this a homicide. And the other thing was, another person reached out to me, kind of very suspiciously, citing that he couldn't go too far because of HIPAA. He said, Sean, have people buy FOIA anything regarding local area hospitals or ERs for the start of that class up until the day that Enrique went in, because there's reports that it could be another recruit that was injured that same day. And they're not talking about that.
201 says, you can say it, Howie. He was fully vaxxed and boosted and collapsed and died. Well, there was a cop in West Palm who was trying to get on the SWAT team last week. I read the Florida papers, obviously, Sean, and he just keeled over. And I think he could, that kind of stuff happens every once in a while, and it could be the vax. It could be a heart malfunction or whatever. But I mean, this is different than that. You don't get broken teeth and a broken neck from a COVID vaccine, do you?
No, of course not. Allegedly, he had a mouth guard on, the headgear on, 16-ounce gloves, under the supervision of several drill instructors. They're noting that one drill instructor in particular seems to have been an aggressive drill instructor for the whole time they were there. They're talking about LGBTQ type slurs. And listen, there's no wonder if Joe Early has a conflict, well, the Mass State Police has more of a conflict, because they cannot be trusted to police themselves, especially on this matter. And I think the FBI needs to be the one to do it.
Actually, the Globe had a story today, Sean. We're talking to Sean McDonough, El Jefe, from the YouTube channel, Going Through the Motions. The Globe had a story saying that the new colonel, Noble, who's coming in from New Jersey, he's been accused of discrimination against gays and lesbians, but he's a white male, so you don't know if this is just part of the territory from being a white male, or if they're just bringing in another guy who's one of the boys.
Yeah, I mean, this goes to the culture that's being permeated all through the Mass State Police, which leads into the other part, that Proctor and his crew looking at cell phones of female arrestees for whatever charges, going through their cell phones illegally, because they need a warrant unless they have permission, and they're going in looking at nudes or sexual videos. Not only that, if they did come across, and evidently they did, they were then downloaded and passed up to their buddies and their the chain of command, to their commanders. And evidently, the FBI also has that information, those downloads.
Oh, wow. Because, I read that when you put that out late last week. And I was thinking, when we all heard in court where he was, he had to read his own text messages, Michael Proctor, who's now been suspended without pay, he's going to be fired. And he was asked by one of his buddies, have you found any nudes yet? And I was thinking they were treating that kind of casually. I wouldn't be thinking something like that. But apparently what your information is that this was a standard operating procedure. Get a woman's cell phone and just go through looking for X-rated stuff and then pass it around.
I mean, it's not unfair to jump to that conclusion.
Exactly. And that was not a one-and-done situation. Here's my thing. My day, you're looking for evidence. I would never think about looking through someone's phone for nudes or sexual. I mean, that's the culture we have right now. And they got caught. They got caught big time.
Wow. So who do you think? You think that Enrique's family is going to sue the Mass State Police?
I understand they were talking to, they were in negotiations today with Davey and Nettie, who was supposed to set up a team, get a private investigator on, get a private medical doctor to do the autopsy, and have a civil attorney on board.
I love it.
They need help. They definitely need the answers. And they did see a video, an 8-minute video. This is what I don't understand. How could Joe Early not see this video? But yet one of his assistant district attorneys provided the father with this video. And the first thing the father said, I didn't see any timestamps. And the joke that Melanie Little said last night was it inverted?
Like the Canton police station video.
Yeah. And it's a sad thing, this, if it's true about like a gang of retired state troopers and off-duty troopers viewing this event, how can they possibly police themselves in this manner? It's impossible.
What a mess. Just when you think things are couldn't get any worse for the Massachusetts State Police, they do, Sean McDonough. So where can people go to see your work?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at Leopardo8, and then on YouTube, I have my channel, youtube.com/@Mofo Central, and then I have a Facebook page, Going Through the Motions.
And it's really, really good stuff. I've learned a lot from Sean McDonough. But he used to be a DEA agent back in the day, Drug Enforcement Administration, and he is a former resident of Canton, Massachusetts, although he got out early. All right.
Yeah.
Sean McDonough, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon, and keep us informed about your breaking stories. Many of us think of Cape Cod as the place to be during the summer. But you know what? It's super special during the off-season, too. Especially.
All right. And welcome, Cupcakes. Cupcakes, for those of you who don't know, this is a raid from the attorney Melanie Little channel. I guess she was kind enough to send everyone over here. We just listened to El Jefe, Sean McDonough from Going Through the Motions on the Howie Carr show. And we learned some interesting things, at least I did for the first time, that apparently, now I saw a little bit of stuff on Twitter about this, but not much. I kind of take what I see on Twitter most of the time with a grain of salt. And Romy, thank you so much for the Glare Invasion. I love it. And your math teacher gifted 10 memberships again. Wow. Wow, thank you so much, your math teacher. So now listen, because I don't want to lose my train of thought. So apparently Yannetti has been helping Enrique's family coordinate what they need here if they're going to get answers and take some action. So now let me find this real quick. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to share this. Now, those of you who have been with my channel know this about me. I don't usually fuck with GoFundMes. Like, they have just been a nightmare for this channel in the past. Not GoFundMe themselves, but people, me sharing them, trying to help people. So I've kind of sworn them off. But the thing is, though, is I do trust where this GoFundMe came from. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share it in the chat. And if you would like to help out the Delgado Garcia family with now what I was told this was going towards was attorney fees, investigator fees, the autopsy that's coming up, and of course a funeral which is coming up. So all of this stuff, as I was told, is going to help those things in some way. So now let me take a look real quick and see where it's at. Now, this was organized by Sandra Garcia, and it is now at $5,691. And if I refresh it, $5,731 now. So you guys are just fantastic. Thank you, Sivo Girl. I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely fantastic. This is great. So, so I'm going to assume that this GoFundMe is the one that is a direct line to the things that Yannetti is trying to set up for this family. So this is going to help them out with this immensely. So again, I am so grateful to you guys for this. This is great. So what I'm going to do now, I just wanted to get through this. I was live earlier. I don't think I'm going to be live all that long, but I am going to open the phone lines. So, let me go ahead and pull that up. And then you guys can call in and share your thoughts with me if you'd like. Now, I did, hopefully it doesn't silence them, but I'm going to have to maybe just keep looking because I looked into how to silence the call waiting beeping, but I may miss calls that way. So I don't know if what the setting that I have for it, if it's going to silence. Yeah, it's silencing all the calls. Anyway, so we're going to have to deal with the beeping, folks. I apologize. Sorry to tease you. But yeah, so people were trying to call, but it was not coming through. So I couldn't even answer it. I will have to look into that again. I just don't want to do it while I'm live.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Will. It's Scott McGinnis. How are you?
Scott McGinnis. What's up, buddy?
I caught your previous show today on replay. It was a great show, by the way.
Right on. It's always good to hear from you, of course.
And one of the things I appreciate about you, Will, is you keep us here that are in the forest of Massachusetts corruption, and I get off the rails. You keep me and others that are involved deeply in this grounded, and I appreciate that.
Oh man, I'm just trying to stay grounded, because like I found myself getting frustrated, and honestly, like I realized that I'm talking to myself and trying to keep myself calm, and then I just kind of feed that because I see people doing what I'm trying not to do, and then I get that much more frustrated. So I take my frustration, on myself out on those people too. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, hey, knock that shit off, and it's just because I am so proud of being part of this and so grateful that I've been welcomed into it. That I don't want us to lose what I love about it, what's drawn me to it, why I respect it so much, why why I am so loud and proud to be part of it. I don't want us to lose that. That's all. So
well, that's what I'm trying to say to you, Will, because, for example, you could have came to me 5 years ago, and I would be telling you these DAs are corrupt. their state police detective groups are corrupt. There's something seriously wrong with the way Massachusetts is set up. And I would sound like an absolutely insane, crazy person.
Right. I felt insane thinking about it, starting to consider it at the very beginning when I first started following this case, Scott. I felt kind of crazy, and I was like, no. That's why I'm part of the reason why I'm so sure now is because I know I went through the motions, no pun intended, when it came to eliminating the possibility that this was, corruption on a mass level and a conspiracy at 34 Fairview and all of that shit. I was like, I was dismissive of that because it sounded crazy. So I was trying to eliminate that. But every effort that I made to eliminate it, logic would just veer me to, nope, that's what makes sense. And it's fucking wild. And I'm still not over it.
And again, that's how much I appreciate you, Will, because your vantage point of view, your logic, it keeps somebody like me and a lot of people in the Free Karen Reed movement sane, and it tempers us, throws some cold water on us, makes somebody like me step back and say, okay, calm down. Here's Worcester County DA Joe Early taking, the podium. And I actually was uplifted with some of what he had to say. He realizes his DA's office is conflicted in this because, as we've discussed before, the problem in the system in Massachusetts is every county DA has their own little state police CPAC detective group under their wings. And I think the system is flawed. And in this case, where, Enrique lost his life in the State Police Academy, which is out in New Braintree, which is part of Worcester County, which is under Joe Early's office. Joe Early realizes his state police detective group is seriously conflicted, and he sees it. He sees that he is not the one to investigate this. What he was saying in his press conference was, look, my state police have to investigate this right now, just in the interim. We need somebody else to step in, and I hope he does that.
Yeah, it just seems right. And that's why I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. But when I hear this stuff about him now, I can't help but feel like, well, now it kind of feels like he was just contradicting himself.
Well, I mean, obviously, Will, you know my point of view.
Sure.
I look at all the DAs in Massachusetts, every single county. They're all blue. They've been in there for years, decades, generations.
Right.
So if you're a constitutional conservative like me, I hate all of them. Okay. and I think they're all crooked, but I'm trying to give Joe Early the benefit of the doubt, and that he's going to do the right thing here.
See, I love that. Thank you, Scott, because that's what I want. And I feel like, and I feel strong in saying that, because it seems like the only realistic way to get results as of now. You know what I mean? Maybe down the road there's other ways to get results, but right now I feel like our hands are tied, and we kind of have to trust this Joe Early guy, and we have to trust the Massachusetts State Police to some degree, unfortunately.
Right.
And
no, I think
give him a chance to fuck this up. You know what I mean? Maybe.
No, I'm giving. I think Joe Early was really credible, and I think he's in shock and horror. He really is.
Right.
And he's actually very upset, and I don't know if
it sure
scared
seemed
is
like
the right
it,
word.
didn't it? I mean, it sure seemed like it, didn't it? Now, I realize that a lot of people are going to disagree with you based on what Turtle Boy was tweeting earlier and his writing about Joe Early back in the day. So, I mean, but at the same time, I agree with you coming from a fresh place, not knowing this stuff, not being a local. I agree with you because I saw what seemed like a sincere guy standing there with the family, maybe the family standing there help that image in some way, but a lot of people have
I mean, you can look at it from a pessimist point of view.
Right.
And you could just say Early brought the family up there and he's using them and he's still covering up.
Right.
You know, and then we go down that rabbit hole. And I hate to get political. And one of the great things I like about the Free Karen Reed movement is we put all our politics aside. We just want the truth.
Right. Yeah, there's blue and red all alike as far as their opinions of Karen Reed's innocence. You know, in this movement. I've seen it. That's one of the things that I love about it. And I'm just like, wow, man, there's just so many people who just care about justice here, and they're looking at the facts, and they're not allowing the political divide to affect their opinions. And I love it.
Turtle Boy could do an expose on every single county DA in Massachusetts. You would have content for your channel for the next 2 years.
That's probably that's a good point. I mean, I'm sure
we can't go down that rabbit hole right now.
Right.
You know, Enrique's family is going through hell.
Right.
This is an awful tragedy. Let's everybody put our politics aside. You know, I could talk to you all day long on how crooked I think Joe Early is.
Right.
Just as much as I can tell you how crooked DA Morrissey is. But right now, we're in an emergency situation. Joe Early needs to step up, be a man, hand over the investigation to somebody that's going to do this correctly,
right?
And let's get to the truth. Let's find out what happened to Enrique. And if there's deep systemic problems in the Massachusetts State Police Academy, let's fix it.
Right. He doesn't need to prove to me or you or the people of Massachusetts or the people of the United States. He doesn't need to prove to any of us that he cared about Enrique. He needs to prove to that family that he had standing up next to him. That's who he has to prove this to. So let's hope that you're right. Let's hope that he steps up, is a man, and does what needs to be done. If he truly cares about Enrique and he is truly the person that he was trying to let us all know that he is, let's see what he does here. And like I said, he doesn't have to prove it to me. He doesn't have to prove it to you. He just has to prove it to that family. That's it.
Exactly.
So let's see what happens.
You know, I use my old cliche. We're the army of truth seekers, and that's what Free Karen Reed is kind of morphed into.
It is.
It's the truth for Sandra Birchmore, and now all of a sudden, like we didn't have enough on our plate, Enrique meets a horrible demise. It's crazy, and I appreciate your view from the outside world, because we're amidst all of this, and I literally sometimes feel like I'm going crazy. So I appreciate you a lot, and I'm gonna let you go and get back to modding.
All right, right on. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate you, buddy. All right. That's Scott McGinnis. Scott McGinnis, for those of you who don't know, most of you guys do, but for those of you who don't know, Scott McGinnis is out there all the time. Just about every single standout, every single trial hearing, every single pre-trial hearing, all of Turtle Boy's hearings. He is always out there. Scott McGinnis truly cares about justice, and so to hear him say those things meant the world to me. So thank you, Scott, for that.
Call from Heather.
Meant the world to me. Thank you, Scott. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Will. This is Heather.
Hi, Heather.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
So I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm over here in New England. I don't know what the heck is going on over here. I don't live in Massachusetts, luckily, apparently.
Okay.
But I have a quick question. I feel like I've been thinking about this for a while. Nobody has really brought it up. So the wording of Jennifer McCabe's Google search, okay? So the fact that she typed how long to die in the cold, so just if you happen to hear that, like, you know, your family member or your friend or something was sick, wouldn't you Google, like, how long can you survive with XYZ, or like how long can you survive in the cold, rather than how long to die? Just the wording of her Google search.
That's a
just
great point. That's a
thank
great
you.
point. I feel like I thought of this for like a second and then had a brain fart and then never thought of it again. And I'm so glad that you brought this up, because that's a great point. I the only thing that would make me, you know, again, I always have to play devil's advocate, you know, and if it would be easy for her to argue that that's how Karen Reed worded it to her, and that's why she Googled those words, right? That's how she would write that off. But to me, that wouldn't convince me, you know, already. I'm not convinced of anything she says. So, you know, still, it seems like, no, you know, why would she do that? You know,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems even weirder considering she was trying to pass off the story that Karen told her to Google that.
Right.
Like, if Karen told her to Google that, if that really was true, which we know it's not, but if it really was true, then what she would probably Google, how long can you survive in the cold? Like, why would she Google, if Karen was freaking out asking her to Google that, why would she Google how long to die in cold? That's, you know what I mean? It just makes her story seem even less like
that,
I don't know, likely,
right?
I guess.
That, and the fact that everything about Jennifer McCabe's behavior is that of somebody who, you know, either already expected him to die, or you know, just didn't, in no way, shape, or form was acting in the interest of trying to save someone's life, is my point.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, even the
Right,
911 call, one might say, well, she's the one who called 911. Okay, well, we heard the 911 call. Not a whole lot of effort there to save his life in that 911 call, was there?
Definitely not. There's a man passed out in the
Not a
snow.
cop,
Like,
not a police officer.
No, right.
I
Exactly.
think he's dead. She hasn't even gone over there. She hasn't heard anybody say anything. She just said, I think he's dead. He's, you know, what? How are you jumping to that conclusion?
Yeah, exactly. But I just, my point kind of, I guess, is that everybody's like arguing about the time of her Google search, and nobody really has mentioned like the wording of it. Because like you don't Google how long to die unless you want somebody to die.
Right. Like if that's the goal, that's that's the outcome.
Right, exactly. Like, she didn't Google how long can you survive or how long can you live in the cold or something like that. So that's just my only question for you. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for calling. I appreciate it. That's a great point.
Anytime. I really enjoy your show, so thank you very much.
Right on. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Call from
Scott.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Will, it's Scott. What's happening, bro?
Scott, my mod Scott?
Yes, it is.
Oh, right on. What's up, Scott?
What's up? Yeah, just interesting couple of days to see you, Sean, and Melanie. And watching that press conference today, I literally turned it off. I was sick to my stomach. And to me, it seemed like the DA was playing CYA, covering his own ass by saying the investigation is going to be going out independently, but my troopers are going to have to do it interim. I call bullshit. All it takes is one phone call from a DA or the Attorney General to the FBI to say, hey, listen, we need help. We need an independent monitor. Somebody needs to do this. And I'm fuming over this.
Right.
I guess Sean had the photos Friday night, and Melanie had them last night, and I really didn't want to look at them.
I haven't seen them.
You know? Well, I went down that rabbit hole earlier today before this show, and I've been to a bunch of autopsies, and in my 26 years, I can't tell you how many assault jobs that I've gone to, and Trooper Delgado was fucking beaten, in my opinion. Okay, there is no other explanation.
I mean,
wearing
he
headgear and
was
mouthpiece.
clearly beaten. Sure. I'm just dismissing the comments, right? The comments are getting on my nerves that people are leaving like, in my opinion, he was beaten by multiple people. Like, stop it. You don't know that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can't assess that by looking at photographs. Stop.
I agree with you on that.
You know,
I agree with you on that.
and I doubt those people have even seen the photographs yet. So, you know, like, careful with the irresponsible speculation. You know,
Exactly.
we don't have any evidence as to. I agree with you that it sounds fishy for sure. It stinks. The whole thing reeks. What I'm saying though is we need to stay rational in how we speculate here. Stick to the fact.
Absolutely.
And that's it, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, I've gone to jobs. My first day on the road as a cop, I saw what happens to a perp that fights a cop. I was working at 8 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon, and the midnight cops were coming in from the end of tour, and they brought in a cop whose arm was in a sling, and he had a cast on his arm. And I was like, what the hell happened? You know, I'm new here. You know, it's my first day. They're training me. And they say, there was a robbery on the train, and the cop went after the guy, and the guy broke the cop's arm. So I'm like, how did he do that? Well, the cop put his arm between the two train doors, and the guy slammed the door on his arm.
Wow.
Then the perp got away. Okay, the perp got away for 3 hours. They caught the perp in the cemetery, okay? And because the cemetery borders 4 different precincts, well, when they finally got him, they gave him what we called in Brooklyn, or the NYPD, a tune-up, okay? And a tune-up is where the guy gets beaten. Now, this is October of 91. Now, the guy got a beating, but it wasn't, he wound up with a lump on his head. That's all he did. Because the rules were, once the cuffs go on the perp, it is over. End of story. You don't give him an extra kick. You don't give him an extra kidney shot. You don't give him a slap on the face. Once the cuffs go on, it's over. End of story. All right?
Right.
And yeah, granted, were there times where me and my partners gave somebody an extra slap before the cuffs went on? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to bullshit anybody here. I was no saint, but I wasn't a perp that was, you know, a crooked cop either.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the way it is.
Just things were done a little differently back then. I get it. Right.
Yeah, times were different. I couldn't be a cop today. Dude, if I was a cop today, you can hear it. You know?
Oh my God, Scott.
Times are different. And listen, my niece just got her grade for a police department test that she took. Well, it's conceivable that my niece is going to be a cop next year out here by where I live. And I'm trying to talk her out of it because times have changed. There is no respect. And in certain cases, some of the cops don't deserve the respect. But on the other hand, not every cop's giving out a beating, and not every cop is dirty. And I'll stand by that.
Right.
But I don't believe in coincidences with what's going on in Massachusetts. It seems like it's a pattern, you know?
Yeah. And I get the outrage. Like, I share the outrage because it's like the MSP again. Awesome. Great. You know, like more shit, which seems like it's just muddying the waters to get to the answers of just one fucking thing. You know, like we want answers on Officer John O'Keefe's case. You know, now it's like, okay, well, there's Sandra Birchmore too, and now there's Justin Root too. You know, and now there's Enrique Delgado Garcia on top of everything else. So it's just like so much shit. And this is making everyone like Sean, you know. Sean 2 days ago was fucking yelling and screaming. He was pissed off. And
he was in tears.
That he was being as a law enforcement agent who dedicated his life to living up to the name and living up to the oath, you know, which is probably why you're just as pissed too, Scott. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly why. I don't understand. I mean, well, I can understand the fact that cops aren't coming forward, because the bottom line is that when you're in a sector car by yourself, I mean, I'm assuming that's how it is in the state troopers, like a highway cop in New York City. It's the only time that you doubled up is when you work at a midnight tour. All right, so you're working by yourself on those highways, and you know what? When you call for help, the only one you got coming is another cop. All right, but enough is enough. There's got to be a retired guy out there or a retired girl out there that could even drop a dime anonymously and say, hey, this is what happened when I went to the academy 10 years ago or 5 years ago, or this is who you should be looking at. All right. Enough is enough. What the hell is it going to fucking take for this crap to stop? Trooper Delgado should not be where he is right now. And his family shouldn't be dealing with this. And we shouldn't be talking about this.
No.
This is insane.
And I'm
fucking
also not ready to subscribe to the theory of hazing just yet either.
I'm not either.
Unless something is out there that I just am not privy to yet and I missed it. But I'm not ready to go to that conclusion that there was hazing going on. I mean, that's, again, unless you have evidence of that, then that's irresponsible. Got to be careful,
Yeah. See, we didn't have hazing. When I went through the academy, there was no hazing. When I got to my first command.
Or that it was a hate crime. We got to be careful of that too. I wouldn't be surprised if, I wouldn't be surprised if like the F slur flew out of somebody's mouth in a video, and maybe that's why they're taking it that way, and maybe it wasn't meant in that. I'm not making excuses. I'm saying I'm naming other possibilities where that could be the case is all I'm doing. I have no idea. But I'm wondering.
I didn't even know that.
What I'm saying is I'm taking the rumors of racial slurs with a grain of salt for that reason. That there could be a reason that the F slur could have flown out of somebody's mouth, and then somebody is taking it as a hate crime. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm saying the whole point that I'm trying to make here is, I'm not ready to make those kind of speculations just yet until I have more information. That's all.
No, I agree. I mean, one thing that really concerns me, looking at one of the pictures that Sean and Melanie had, was an injury to the chest. Okay. And it's a small circular type injury. Okay.
Huh.
Now, if you look at the chest, if you're looking at the picture in front of you, to the right side, people think it's his nipple, okay? That doesn't look like a nipple to me, okay? That looks like an injury from a specific type of piece of equipment that cops carry, okay? Now, I was one of the first ones trained in it in my command.
Are you talking about the little thing that's about this big that's got a almost a circular point to it?
It's called an asp.
What's it
It's called an asp.
An asp.
ASP.
ASP is in Paul.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
That looks like to me, okay, in my opinion, all right, my opinion only, that looks like an injury from a bruise from an asp. Okay. Now, when I went through the academy,
hold on. I gotta stop you for a second. This was not even at $6,000 last time I checked, guys. It is now at $8,881.
That's fucking great.
Wow,
that's great,
people. You guys are amazing, dude. $8,881.
That's great.
So go ahead and keep talking. I was checking this because I wanted to look up.
No, that's great. That's great what everybody's doing.
An asp.
All right. I was one of the first cops in my command to get issued the asp, and the training that we went through. Okay.
Ew, it's
now,
much
because the
snake.
NYPD, because the NYPD is more of a, we're going to tell you how to do it here, but how you do it in the field, you're supposed to do it that way, but it's really not done that way because it really doesn't work, if you get my drift.
Right.
Now, we didn't have full body pad. We didn't have any padding on when we did the ASP training. We weren't even using real ASPs. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Yes, we were. We were using real ASPs. But what was happening is, because they didn't have enough body protection for everybody in the class, some people had the gear on, like the MMA training gear.
Okay.
And some people were holding what looks similar to football pads. Like you could hold it with one arm on one handle, and your other arm with other hand would hold the pad another way, so you'd hold it. And then what they would do is, all right, we're going to do a strike to the shoulder. You hold it up over your shoulder.
You hold the pad.
Takes the
Okay.
hand, hits it there. Yeah. Then you drop it down to the knee. Now, if I remember correctly, the strike points with an ASP were arms, legs, and the back. Okay. Under no circumstances were you to aim for the head, and under no circumstances were you to aim for the groin area. Okay. Now, if you're going for a shoulder shot or an arm shot and the perp moves and gets hit, that's one thing, but you're not to aim for those parts of the body. All right. Now, I actually, believe it or not, I only used the ASP once from the time that I was,
You mean on the job?
Certified to use it.
Or during training?
Yeah. No, I only used it once in the field.
Okay.
I only used it once. Yeah. And let me tell you something. You crack somebody, that little ball on the end of it, it leaves a mark. All right. I caught somebody in the leg just below the kneecap, and it dropped them 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
All right. Job over and done. But it's also the amount of force you're using to do it too. You're not swinging like you're flipping a burger. You know, you're trying to take the person down.
Right.
You know.
Like you're not fucking around. Like, yeah. That's why.
No.
Like, when you tell me about like you handed out a couple of fucking beatings, you know, like, like I laugh and I take it as a great assault because I imagine New York in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're fighting a war out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it
like,
was.
As long as it's not racially motivated, like if somebody fucking tries to fucking kill you and they're trying to hurt you, fucking you protect yourself. Cop or not a cop, fuck that shit. You know what I mean?
See, Will, that's what people get it twisted. All right. I primarily worked in Black and Hispanic areas. So who are we gonna be arresting? We're gonna be arresting primarily Black and Hispanics. Okay, that's just the nature of the job. There's nothing racial about it. That's where I was put.
Right.
Now, did we get some white kids coming in buying drugs? Yeah, we locked them up too.
I see what you're saying.
It was obvious.
You're saying, I mean, that was just the beat, and you know, sometimes somebody will fucking take a swing at you. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
I'm sure other callers want to call in, but I want to tell you a quick story. All right. When I was a member of the transit police, we had the Chevy Impalas when I first came out. So in late 91, we had Chevy Impalas, 92, 93, 94, we got Crown Vics. We started with them. So our cars were different from NYPD and the housing police. Our cars had the metal partition with the plexiglass separating the front from the back of the car. So when we had a perp that fought a cop, okay, or really did something atrocious, like robbed an old lady and like threw her down a flight of stairs and took a purse, and we caught the guy.
Yeah.
You know, what would happen is if he beat up a cop, well, this is
their head's gonna hit the doorway on the way into the car. Right. I get you. Yeah.
Because there was no ABS back in the day. ABS, there was no ABS.
There was
back
no
in the day,
cameras.
bro.
Yeah.
And it was an unsaid thing. I'm driving a car, or my partner's driving, and he puts his seatbelt on. I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. There was no ABS, so I put my seatbelt on. He'd gun the car down a long straightaway, and just yell. And he would yell. We'd give fair warning by about a second. Brake check, and all you heard is boom. And whoever look in the back and. Did you learn your lesson about fighting a cop? Did you learn your lesson about beating up an old lady, throwing her down a flight of stairs, and taking a pocketbook?
See, that's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes, sometimes a beating is good for you. You know what I mean? It just, it's good for you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, if that's like some fucking young dude, and he's just handcuffed and fucking, he just threw an old lady down the stairs. Probably already feels bad about it, like probably regrets it, but you got to make sure. And, you check your brakes and he's give him one of these, just like real quick, all right. Yeah, I got it, man. Not cool to throw old ladies down the stairs and steal their, I got it.
Yeah.
Right. It
didn't happen often, but right. I'm not going to lie. It happened. All right, bro. Listen, keep up the good work, bro, and I'll talk to you soon.
Right on. Thanks, Scott, man. That was great.
Bro.
Bye. Yo, that's our moderator, Scott. 25 years on the job in the NYPD, guys.
Call from Committee to Elect.
All right. I'm glad that I skipped that name. Who am I speaking with?
Call from
Michelle.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hello?
Yes.
Who is this?
This is Will.
Oh, sorry. I'm watching you. That's why I didn't know it was you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Turn that down.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, right on.
So my name is Michelle. I turned it off. And I just wanted to say, first of all, I love you guys. I love all of you. I watch every single one of you. It's like my life. This is what I do. Other than work full time, this case has taken over my life over the past year. I have adult children who say, Ma, you've got.
You're in good company, you guys. Yeah, that's everyone's story here.
Yes, really bad. Really bad. In fact, it was the absolute worst. Okay, so, through all this other BS we've gone through with all this court and Camry, I've been out of my mind. But no, this Enrique situation put me over the edge.
Right.
Over the edge.
It put a lot of people. I think that's the. I
was watching Sean McDonough the other night. I was in tears. I was worried for him. In fact, I sent him a message like, "You need to go golfing or something. You need to get out of this for at least a day and get your head out of it because it's going to make us crazy."
Yeah.
It's going to make us all crazy.
I mean, because I feel the same way, man. I feel the same way.
You're in a good place, Will. You're in a good place. You've got it right. I can tell you something. I was getting a little aggravated at you earlier today watching your show. Because you're so cool, calm, and collected. After watching that show.
If I got to be the guy who people get mad at because they don't like to be told to calm down, and I'm the guy who's going calm down, telling people who don't like to be told to calm down. If I gotta be that bad guy and get that hatred, fine, but somebody's gotta fucking do it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we'll all go nuts, and we can't afford to do that right now. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
You're 1,000% right. However, if you were in front of me this afternoon, I wouldn't be saying that. I was just in such a bad place.
Me too. I feel you. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I have to say, I was not happy with that press conference today. I know. I mean, again, I don't trust any of them at this point.
I don't either.
And I can tell you what has me most upset is this, okay? All I think of is poor John, God bless his soul, right? And how there was no goddamn investigation done. And because of that, these murderers are going to get away with it. I hope they don't. I honestly hope that feds have it all.
That's the thing that we have to remember. That's the thing that we have to remember. none of us suspect, at least not realistically, none of us suspect that the Massachusetts State Police was behind the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. None of us believe that the Massachusetts State Police was behind the murder of Sandra Birchmore. So the thing is we have to be very careful at the accusations we make. We haven't given them a chance to investigate just yet. They said, okay, it was a boxing accident. We all are calling bullshit. Let's see what happens beyond that. We have to keep into perspective what this is.
You're right. But what my point is, what I'm trying to say is, what upsets me most is almost like what Scott was just saying. I can't stand the fact that this investigation is under the Massachusetts Police. I can't stand the fact because I don't trust them.
Right. I don't either. I don't. I'm with everyone on that.
That's what upsets me the most because I don't want the same shit to happen. And like Sandra, 3 years later. It was. Oh, please.
You have to understand the slippery slope. You have to understand the slippery slope. Because if they're so quick to call in the feds to investigate something because the Massachusetts State Police can't be trusted, that sets a precedent. That now there's going to be just the necessity of federal intervention on a local level, which is bad. We don't want that. We don't want that. You know, this is America. This is the United States of America. We don't want that. So we have to be very careful that we do everything that we can. We have to exhaust every effort on a local level before we are quick to say, hey, Josh Levy, hey, feds, bail us out here. But I'm sure, here's the thing is, I'm sure also that Josh Levy has got his eye on all this. I'm sure if they can intervene, I'm sure they will. If it's necessary to intervene, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're watching. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I believe you're right. It's just, again, at this point, it was like Enrique was the straw that broke the me. That was just like, I'm done. And if they don't find out tomorrow who did this, it's not quick enough. Because I don't want any evidence being lost. I don't want anything being set up. I don't want any tail lights being brought in anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I so want his justice for him and his family. That's really what it's all about.
Same here. I mean, I can honestly say that I am absolutely driven by how my heart is breaking for that family. When I saw them speak, my heart was broken for them, and now I'm just like, you know. So that's why, against my better judgment, against my what I've sworn not to do on this channel ever again, which is share a GoFundMe, I'm sharing that GoFundMe.
And good for you. Good for you. I'm so happy you did that. I am so happy you did that. They need it. They need it desperately. They need to know they have our support.
I agree.
People.
I agree.
My heart goes out. They need to know that they are not alone in this. They've got a million people behind them, and we are all going to fight for Enrique, and we're going to fight for them, and we're going to keep fighting for Karen. We're just going to keep it up. We're not stopping. And I appreciate you, Will. I appreciate you bringing me down.
Let's think about Rita Lombardi, right? Rita Lombardi's always saying that this is a movement. This is a movement of love and support. It is.
It is.
So we have to maintain that. Don't let the anger change our behavior. And what we do by maintaining that this is a movement of love and support, we keep that mentality and use that to to support the Delgado Garcias, to support them. We take that energy, put it towards them instead of focusing the energy on the anger. We just do that, and the other stuff will come naturally. Getting the answers that we want will happen naturally. We will do so rationally, like we've done everything else. Everything else has come to light. We are, no matter what people say, we can sleep at night knowing we have done everything rationally, applied logic, applied rationality, and have gotten the answers that we have now based on that. So if we have to continue that, and it helps the family that much more if we continue this way.
Okay, and I'm just going to say, closing, you really got into the wrong field because you should have been a therapist. Okay, you really would have been a fabulous therapist.
Oh my God, that's a scary thought. Like, I wake up every day finding excuses not to go to therapy myself. What are you talking about? That's a bad idea. That's
no, I'm telling you, you got a way about you to bring people down, and that's really important. Not everybody has that gift.
Those who can't teach, I guess. Like,
that's what it is.
I'm the nutcase that's going to evaluate you. That's great. Yeah, no, that's a scary thought. No way.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys and your channels. Each and every one of you are fabulous.
Thank you
take
so
care
much.
And have a great night.
You too.
All right.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Call from
Tiny.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
It's Piney Woods.
Piney Woods. What's up? How are you?
I feel like I'm so old. I remember calling into the radio stations and trying to get your song requested or whatever, and you just keep calling and keep calling.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're reminding me of.
I was going for that. So awesome.
I wanted to. I saw your live earlier with the press conference, and I think for one thing, I just wanted to say you're absolutely right. Nobody should jump to anything. We don't know anything. So I think but like Karen Reed, we do know, I think, given what we've heard, that this was not a boxing or training accident with this young man.
The only reason that I'm entertaining the possibility that it is because there's supposedly footage of it. So I want to see this footage, so maybe there's just something that I'm not thinking of where there's an explanation for what happened. I'm giving that the same benefit of the doubt that I was giving, all possibilities, even the prosecution in the Karen Reed case before trial started.
Exactly.
I'm like, I don't know. let's wait and see. But
it's a lot like that. We don't know exactly what happened to John O'Keefe, but we do know that Karen Reed did not hit him with her car.
Right.
I mean, so it's a lot like that.
Exactly.
But I wanted to mention, you were saying earlier, I don't know how the feds can get involved, but the feds can get involved here. They always do when there's police on police.
If Joe Early requests federal intervention, which I believe that he should, then yes, but and
I don't think he will.
I don't
think
so either. I don't think
he'll ask, but I think the reason, in fact, he wouldn't have gone up today and say, I hope somebody else takes this case. He's begging for them to jump in this case. He doesn't want to ask. There's so much dirt up in there. He's not going to say, hey, come look at us.
Right.
But
I was talking about that earlier on my last live stream that I did earlier today. I was saying pretty much the same thing that you're saying. I'm with you on that. Yeah. Like if he's dirty, like the way that Turtle Boy is saying he is, and everyone else that then yeah, like if there's this scandal and this is a testament of his character, he's not going to welcome the feds coming around and sniffing around him, asking questions,
You're right. But these are the cases that the federal government, the DOJ, the FBI,
mostly the DOJ, get involved in, because this is a state actor on a citizen who also is a state actor in this case, but basically a state actor, a policeman or a state trooper, trainee or state trooper, whatever he was, he's still a state actor. And the young man is a citizen. So this is if they decide that this was a wrongful act, and we don't know yet, but if they do decide that it's a wrongful act, then they can come in under the civil rights statute. And that's how they usually do come in.
Well, I got to tell you, is part of this money, as I understand it, as it was told to me, is going towards an autopsy. And as far as what I've seen, I don't know how accurate this is. There's only 8 more days where they can get, where there's a window where they can get their own autopsy, which I don't understand how that is. If Sandra Birchmore was able to get one 2 years later. So I don't know. That makes me ask that question, but
and you should ask that question. The difference is that the family can move to have exhumation or have, in her case, I think she cremated? I'm not sure. But the family can then move in court to have her exhumed and to have another autopsy. But the first time you can do that is limited to, I don't know what it is in Mass, but I think here it's 7 days.
Okay.
So, and that's just for burial purposes and family and grieving and turning the body over and all of that stuff. Unless there's a crime. If there's a crime, there's no time.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it's initially ruled a crime, there's no time. Sometimes it takes.
This is wild. I got to interrupt you here. I just shared this again, and we just crossed over to $10,000, $10,036 now, guys.
Oh wow!
That is
I contributed
amazing.
Earlier. That's wonderful. That's been since I've been on this line, because I contributed earlier. I mean, nothing like that. I didn't make it go high or anything, but wow.
Mind blowing.
But yeah, I think so. But I do think that how the feds come in, as you were saying earlier, if he doesn't ask them, they'll come in if there's a civil rights allegation. And I think that the family has hired counsel, and if they allege a civil rights violation, that would be my guess. If they do so, then the feds will come in.
Yeah. Now, off the subject a little bit, it made me think of, there's news in the Karen Reed camp that she has hired now some civil attorneys, a team of civil attorneys to defend herself against this lawsuit from the O'Keefes. Now, it's funny because I'm seeing a lot of hate from people on Twitter, and they're saying that makes her look guilty. Dude, if you're getting sued, you hire you hire attorneys. That's what you do.
Absolutely.
That's what you do.
You have to.
Like, what are you talking about?
That doesn't. Why would they say that means she's, well, and she wouldn't be guilty in a civil case, she'd be liable. But yes, I mean, the first thing you do when you get sued is hire counsel.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Whether you're a lawyer or a regular person or anybody.
The first time you get a formal interview with law enforcement, if you have the means, you bring a lawyer. You know, in a criminal case, even if you're a suspect or not, you bring a lawyer with you to sit down with you if you have the means to do so.
I would recommend that.
Of course.
As an attorney, I do recommend that.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, as an attorney, I would also assume that your first advice would be shut the fuck up. You know,
that's always my first advice.
Shut the fuck up and wait till I get there. Period. Right. If you're an attorney, you're saying shut the fuck up, wait till I get there. If you've got the means to call me and get me in there, then you do that. Don't talk unless you absolutely have to.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. And And the fact that she's hired somebody, I'm so glad, because as a defendant, since she sued, there's no contingency fee. So she can't just go in with no money and say, sue these people. She's hiring people to defend her. So she's got to put a huge retainer down. And that breaks my heart for her because it's going to cost her a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of money.
Thank goodness, man. Thank goodness that this community is growing and she's got a lot of support. So it's great. And that the link to Karen Reed's Defense Fund is in the description as always. So
Oh yeah. Well, I've been rewatching the trial again. It's like all the witnesses again. And I find myself really wanting to come up there and watch this next trial or help them prep or do something. I mean, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
That the judge did not recuse herself ab initio is outrageous. So I don't know why that happened. I don't know why she went against the First Amendment and kept Aiden out of the courtroom for those witnesses. That's crazy.
I don't even know, like, and I love hearing attorneys like you say these things, because I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, and then when I hear attorneys like you or Melanie Little or Benro like go, yeah, it's like the Twilight Zone. If you're in the Twilight Zone, I'm in the Twilight Zone too, basically.
Yes.
So, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not totally insane. This is fucking nuts,
Well, it makes me feel better as an attorney because I think I'm such a law nerd. I mean, I'm like looking up cases, seeing what their support is, and it makes me feel better that lay people who maybe just follow the law or follow crime are saying exactly what I'm saying. It makes me feel better. Like, oh, I'm not just being all nerdy and constitutional on this. It's really happening.
Man. What's nerdy about being constitutional? You know what I mean? What's nerdy about being patriotic?
I don't know. My friends in law school called me a law nerd. They still do.
I'm the furthest thing from a fucking nerd, man, unless like we're talking about like 90s and 80s movies, like unless we're talking about that stuff, like I'm the furthest thing from a nerd, and I consider myself extremely patriotic, even though I'm not going to pass I'm not going to beat somebody with a college education on trivia, not even a full high school education. I'm not going to beat them in civics trivia, but I know that I believe in right and wrong. I know that I have a sense of right and wrong, and I can tell when there's wrong happening. And I see it happening. And that's why I feel, and I question myself because I'm not educated. So I question myself. And then when I hear attorneys basically validate everything that I've been thinking, I'm like, oh, thank God, because I'm not crazy.
Like the Las Vegas cops, I represented cops. And so for a great portion of my career, and so I've recently, I think you sent me over there. I can't remember who sent me over there, but I've been watching the Las Vegas cops, and when I hear them say what I'm saying, what y'all are saying, just about these witnesses and their incredible,
and how they would have handled the scene initially. Like that alone was just like, I was like, okay, see, like I was like, all right, yeah, exactly. Rope off the whole street, like knock on the door until somebody answers yes, of course.
Exactly. It's outrageous, and like I say, y'all make me feel better because I'm like digging into case law. Is there anything that would allow the judge to do this or allow these witnesses? And like when Higgins had his lawyer come up and Jackson clearly made the case that he had violated a federal felony, and then the judge says, oh no, he didn't, and he laid out the actual elements and said he just said that. And I was just, wait a minute, is there something in math that makes it okay? I mean, I couldn't understand. And it's just I've come to the conclusion that the woman on the bench is not impartial.
Oh, Bev? Yeah. Like,
I tried to give her every
it's-
benefit of the doubt. I know how to give deference to the court, but that woman is not impartial.
it's nice to hear an attorney say that too, because I look at that and I'm just like, dude, she's dirty. You know, and again, I'm not saying dirty in the sense that she's taking payments or anything like that. I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that. I don't even I don't have anything to even suspect that. But
even if she's not actually biased or actually has a conflict of interest, our rules and the judicial rules say you can't even have an appearance where people might likely think you are impartial or have a conflict.
Right.
You can't have an appearance of a conflict.
If
And
you're
she
not
definitely had an
acting,
appearance.
if you're not acting in the interest of justice, which is what you're sworn to do, then you are corrupt by definition.
And the prosecutor, I was the prosecutor starting out, and the prosecutor, his number one goal is to seek justice, period. And that means no matter how the facts fall, you got to seek the justice. So I don't even understand that.
Olivia's telling you to cut Bev some slack. That they just got Wi-Fi a few weeks ago at the courthouse, and Bev didn't even know who Brian Higgins was a month before the trial. I love it.
Well, I watched that hearing several times, and just the straight hearing on live stream, and or not the hearing. What the hearing was within his testimony, but I don't understand. I mean, I understand why his attorney came up, because he actually had just admitted to committing a felony, and then the judge said, no, he didn't. And I was like, yes, he did.
Christ.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on up there, but the more I watch and the more I listen, it's crazy. And it makes me just,
And it
makes
gets
me want to come up and help.
crazier. It gets crazier. And that's why it's pissing everyone off, because it's in everyone's face. They're not even, you know what I mean? Like this thing that's happening with Enrique Delgado Garcia. This is the Massachusetts State Police right now, just being straight up shady right in everyone's face in the midst of all that we're already pissed off about. So I get everybody getting pissed off, man. Like I'm pissed off. Rose 5 gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I got to give her a round of applause real quick. Thank you, Rose D. Appreciate you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I also wanted to say about, is it Garcia? Is that his last? I know in some Hispanic communities, he's got his mother's name and then his father's name.
It's a hyphen. I don't know the nature of it, but it's a hyphen, 2 last names hyphened.
Right.
Yeah.
I have read the description. I have yet to see the photographs. Apparently, Sean McDonough has them. I haven't seen them, but from the description, I recall a case or two that I handled in Harris County where the victim was stomped and curbed. I don't know if you know what curbed is. I learned that as a new lawyer, but
yeah, I learned that from a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
oh man, very very disturbing, the nature of that method.
Right.
Yeah.
The injuries listed that I've seen, including 3 fractured vertebrae. It is hard to break a neck bone, including that and the leg and an arm, and I think brain injury and all this other stuff. That looks like stomping and curbing to me.
You know, that's not unreasonable. That's not an unreasonable theory at all, considering the injuries. That could.
I mean, I do not have any information that would lead me to believe that's what happened. I'm just saying that's what the injuries.
But I would consider that before I would consider multiple culprits.
Assailants. Yeah, probably.
So
I mean, I'm not really big into conspiracy theories.
right.
But this is an unusual situation, and like I said, I don't know what happened to that young man, but I do know that this wasn't a boxing injury or a training injury. I can see getting, a arm or leg broken, but
right.
the rest of them, that just doesn't fly.
Right. Yeah, I just need more information before I can speculate as to what happened to him. But that's not
exactly.
That's not unreasonable considering the injury, what we know of the injuries, or at least what I know of the injuries. I'm not going to say that that's unreasonable at all.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
Well,
I feel like in theory he'd probably lose more teeth, but now for those of you who don't know what we're talking about here, so what she's saying is that like if you've ever seen the movie American History X, what Edward Norton's character went to prison for was what he did to that person who was trying to steal his car. He curbed him, and this is, trigger warning, this is very graphic. So he had the person bite down on the curb along the side of the road, and then stomped on him, stomped on the back of his head, which would, in theory, not being a medical professional, that would make some sense as to the nature of his injuries. But
yes, and it does make sense, but we don't know what happened, and that seems unusual. If they were, I don't know where they were, but and we don't know anything right now. So, but the injuries look funny, and I can tell you, just like I can tell you that Karen Reed didn't hit Officer O'Keefe with her car, that this kid was not killed in a training session.
Yeah, no, I mean, right. I don't believe that, but I'm staying open-minded in the sense that, like, if there's video footage, I need to see it,
Exactly.
So, because I always entertain the possibility that there's some scenario that I'm just not thinking of, that makes it all make sense, so we'll see. We'll see.
Like he fell from a rope. Oh, I wanted to tell you one other thing. I don't think that Higgins, despite his whatever he had for Officer O'Keefe, I don't think that all of those Alberts and McCabe's would protect him. I think they're protecting the kid.
That's what it sure seemed like during trial, didn't it? Is that they seemed very protective of Colin.
Yes, and but I don't think that Higgins would be being protected if he were an actor.
Right.
I think it would be they're protecting someone in the group. And my guess would be the kid.
That's what it seems like for sure. As far as who they're protecting, I didn't get a vibe that they were protecting Higgins. I got the vibe that in the sense when it comes in, if we're theorizing that Higgins had the motive and so he probably did it, then what I got the impression of is that everybody kind of minded their own business about it and they don't want to incriminate themselves for not helping John. But they're mostly protective of themselves, not Higgins. Now,
right,
the person that I did feel that they were very much protective of. Now, for what reason other than him just being a younger person in the family, and it would be their natural instinct to be protective of him. Other than that, I don't know. But people say that Higgins had the motive, and people were saying that Colin had the motive long before Higgins even came into the picture. So.
Right. I just don't think this catty, weird McAlbert group, I don't think that they would protect Higgins.
I don't think so either. Like I said, the vibe I get when it comes to him if I'm looking at everyone's behavior and I'm theorizing that Higgins is the person who actually killed John, I'm looking at their behavior as being protective of themselves and not him.
Yeah, me too. But well, listen, I don't want to keep you. I know you've got other callers. I just wanted to throw that the feds can jump in at any time because it's a state actor against a citizen. So
Agreed. All right. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you always.
oh, thank y'all. Have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Awesome.
Call from
Samantha.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
What's up, Will?
What's up? Who's this?
It's Samantha.
What's up, Samantha?
So hell froze over because I'll tell you what, I never get through these lines. But my comment is I was watching Sean and Melanie earlier today, and the fact, and I know we don't like to bring this person's name up, but I got to because it literally is making my skin crawl. It's the fact that Jennifer Coffindaffer had the audacity, while this poor man's family is grieving and is upset, heartbroken, shattered, you name it, has the audacity to send these people a private message, whether it be on Instagram or whatever, and basically ask this family what their intentions are. Are they going to seek a private investigator? Are they going to get a private autopsy done? Are they going to, get a lawyer? Are they going to get this and that? And her only motive is so she can go back and report to whoever I'll just keep it not explicit, whoever she's under the desk with, and report that to them so they can have a heads up of what is going on and what this family's intentions are. This poor guy hasn't even been deceased for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A week. And yet she has the audacity to literally, send them a private message. And then the fact of it is that she's shaming them and acting like it's a conspiracy theory the day before.
Yeah, before
It blows my mind, and I don't understand how this is allowed. I don't understand how she is allowed to continue to act in this manner.
Right. The bottom line is that we all have reason to be suspicious of the Massachusetts State Police. We just all do. It's all justified.
Absolutely.
I mean, so I there's no way for her to do that without coming off as totally shady.
It's just sick. Like, what kind of twisted human being do you have to be? And when she says "hoy" in her message, hi, sir, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
And then, I would be honored to help your family in any way I can advocate for justice for him. Have you received any official reports? Will you be ordering an independent autopsy? Have you spoken to any other of the trainees? Like, all she's doing is just digging and digging and digging for information, and how this woman is continued to allow to behave the way that she does.
Yeah.
And I don't care whose payroll she's on. I don't care. The fact that it is allowed is absolutely despicable and appalling. And I pray to the good Lord above that this family knows what she's about and knows who she is and what her mission and motive is, what it actually is. Because when I saw that, I thought, you literally have hit rock bottom, lady.
Oh yeah, Piney is saying, who I was just on the phone with, says she forgot to tell me that she researched Coffindaffer and got some scoop. I wonder what it was.
I don't know, but I'm digging and digging myself, not for the purposes that she's digging with this poor guy's family. I mean, they had a hard time with the English and their translation back and forth about the 8-minute video that they were viewing. You can't tell me that anywhere in the Massachusetts State Police or in the DA's office that they don't have a translator that can sit this family down and tell them everything that they're seeing. And they did it for a reason. Is because they don't want them to know everything that they're seeing is actually incorrect. They want them to believe them. And it's just such a shame. But all I'll say is that Josh Levy, his plate is overflowing because he will eventually end up running the MSC.
I don't want to tell the family to do anything or not do anything.
Absolutely not.
I would recommend to them that if credible people like David Yannetti are reaching out to them to take heed in whatever he says, things of that nature. But just random
absolutely, they're going to need an attorney for sure.
Twitter, don't listen to anybody.
My God,
don't listen to anyone. No random people on Twitter, not even YouTube creators. Don't
well, she's famous for blocking people.
Explore your options.
I call her coffin dude.
Qualified people.
Right, exactly. And she blocked me a long time ago because I kept calling her Jennifer Coffin dude.
Oh, she blocked me a while back too. Yeah. I
she keeps blocking people. Well,
I can't even.
I ended up having to get a new Twitter because somebody reported me or whatnot. So I just created a new one. Well, she don't have me blocked now. So I put up the screenshot that Sean and Melanie shared. I took a screenshot of that, and I just basically told her everything I told you. But I just don't see how she can sleep at night knowing that she is such a flipping snake. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I mean,
it really is.
yeah.
The woman needs mental health.
I've really seen some people's true colors covering true crime on this channel over the years, man. And, I think the saddest part about it is finding, coming across a number of people who, and I mean a handful, of people who,
sure,
who simply just continue to do horrible shit and wake up every day and look at themselves proudly in the mirror. It's wild.
Man, I'm just such an awesome person.
And I'm like, how do you not, dude? And
she wants to call us grifters.
People
are you guys grifters? What the fuck is she doing?
We're talking about networks of people dedicated to showing them how fucked up they are and showing people how fucked up they are. And they pay no attention to it. I'm talking if I had I'm talking 20 YouTube channels dedicated pretty much to exposing how shitty I was, I'd probably have to self-reflect and be like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Everybody gets the 1 or 2 hate channels. That happens. You know what I mean? But if there's 10 or 20 of them, dude, you're it's time to look in the mirror and ask yourself and really review your content and be
she'd get smacked real hard if she looked in the mirror. But here's the deal, is when she calls out Melanie Little, of all people, that woman is a saint.
Right.
Literally. She's freaking the most ethical, professional. She has integrity. She actually has morals, unlike this woman. And for her to have the balls to call out Melanie Little and say what she said about her, it blows my mind, because it's what are you? And then if you look at the comments, 99.9% of them is nothing but hate against her.
That's what I mean. It's the same thing with Clement, right? It's 99% of the comments are negative, they're like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? And
when you're
and you just wonder, how do you not see that? How do you not see
I don't see how anybody in her family.
Something's wrong with me. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't see how anybody in her family isn't whoa, you have went way too far. You need to settle down and stay off social media, because all you're doing is digging yourself a bigger hole to lay in. Because I'm telling you, the only person that you have to go on YouTube as far as a YouTube channel
feel like
is
they
Plevin.
I feel like they have family.
That's terrible.
I feel like what they have is family who just enables them. You know, like if
It's probably
if it's true that Plevin lives in his mom's attic, that tells you everything you need to know. You know what I
He
mean?
lives in his cobwebbed attic, is what I always say.
if that's his mom's attic, then you know what I mean. That tells you everything you need to know. It's just an enabler. Somebody's been enabling him and coddling him his whole life, and that's why. And
Right,
somebody
it totally makes sense.
Somebody was telling Jennifer Coffendoff for her whole life that everything that you do is fine. You know, stop
Oh
the
my God.
insanity. Thank you.
Did you see the reenactment that they did? I don't know what show it was on, and they were in a parking garage, and some
Turtle Boy played
know,
that shit was fucking funny.
Yeah, some stranger comes up and like snatches her around the neck. I'm thinking, dude. And then when she's like, I didn't even hear Rich coming. Are you freaking kidding me? You probably practiced that like 72 times.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
She's just a bizarre individual. And when I seen that she did that of reaching out to this family, I thought, I really hope that they just do not fall for her bullshit. And I really hope that, they do not feed into her. I don't care if she sends them 100 messages a day. That should be a red flag to itself. But just,
I mean,
I just hope that they don't.
It's just tacky, man. Because that
So
family,
tacky. It's classless.
that family is going through one of the hardest times that anybody could ever go through, if not the hardest.
Oh, it just gives me goosebumps just seeing the mom, how she was just bawling her head off.
The last thing they need is just a bunch of strangers trying to use them to gratify their own interest in being sleuths. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Leave them alone. Let them grieve.
Yeah.
There is a community here. They see what we're talking about. They're aware. If they want to reach out to somebody, they will.
Exactly.
And
now, David Yannetti reaching out to, if that is true, that is perfectly fine.
Now,
because he can direct them.
Right. True. David
in the
Yannetti,
correct way that they need to go.
David Yannetti absolutely would be an
And
asset.
I could see him doing it for free because he is such a kind man, and he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the details of it, but I one of the things now, one of the arguments is that, people who are defending Coffendoff are saying, well, they tagged her. Okay, maybe, but they tagged me too, I think. So
right.
I mean, what difference? You don't see me going out and private messaging them, and
right, exactly. Just because you're tagged doesn't mean that you have to open your pie hole.
I saw their post. I saw the cousin's post. I followed the cousins now, the cousin now on Twitter, and I am. We'll see. He knows.
Yeah.
To contact me if he wants to, and I'm
so glad that Sean said the same thing.
Yeah, I'm willing to give them a voice, but I'm not going to reach out to them. That's not my place. But I would never turn down a victim or their family. I would never turn them away from a platform that I could provide them if that's what they need.
Oh, no. And we know you're in it for the right reasons. We know that you're not some coffin doofus wannabe or whatever. We know that you're in it for the right reasons.
Yeah. I think they know now for sure that they have a strong support system because
and I'm so glad
this has gotten to 12,200.
Because I know if I was them, I would be totally clueless. I would be like, where do I go? Who do I talk to? I don't know any of these people.
Right. Yeah,
you know, and I'm just thankful that Sean was, you
they
know,
shouldn't trust anybody except anybody who's been vetted well, like David Yannetti or somebody like that. You know, that's
right.
That's my recommendation to them. Don't, you know,
Right. And if anybody can get you into contact with anybody, it's definitely Sean McDonough.
I'm telling you, this happens. Like I've been following cases. One of the worst things to ever happen is when a victim's family reaches out to YouTubers, and then they get caught up in YouTube drama, man. Like you look at the Sebastian, it's ruined the Sebastian Rogers case. His parents,
that's awful.
Parents on both sides have engaged in petty YouTube bullshit. And now the investigation into finding Sebastian Rogers is
where's it at?
For a lack of a better term, fucked so far.
It's gone.
As right now, it's
gone.
Fucked. So
exactly.
We have no idea what happened to this kid. There's no evidence to indicate what happened to him at all whatsoever. So for all we know, he's out there scared and alone, and there's no leads because people think that.
Well, I know one of the investigator or the
bullshit on YouTube.
Just the last couple comments, and I'll let you go to the next caller. The geo profiler that helped the Rachel Morin case.
Morin, yeah.
Matt Morin. He actually reached out to try to help with the Sebastian Rogers case, as well as, I believe his name is Greg Fisher, who is located in California. And Greg wrote a big, long story on Twitter and said, I had to tap out of this one. I couldn't do it no more.
Are you sure it wasn't Steve Fisher?
Steve, yes, Steve Fisher. Yes.
SF Investigates.
Yes,
I've had him on this channel a few times, actually.
Yeah. He's actually one of the guys that helped when Riley Strain went missing.
Wow. Yeah.
Was Steve.
Yeah. He's he usually contributes how he can to cases. He was very active in a couple of cases involving that were here in Tennessee. There was I covered Layla Santinello. He covered that. He's very
but
active.
Both
on
of
Twitter.
those guys tapped out of the Sebastian Rogers thing because they basically felt that it was bad. It stunk, and they were getting nowhere.
You're not gonna. When you have limited resources in a particular county or town, you have limited resources that are not used to handling missing persons cases, and then a missing person case turns up in your town and becomes extremely high profile, and everybody on social media is spitting rumors and speculation about it, then you're going to get a bunch of useless tips that you have to follow up on, that you don't have the resources to follow up on all of them, which means the waters are muddied, and that kid's chances of being found are fucked.
Exactly. And who knows, it makes me shake my head at some of these people, because it's like, where does your intelligence come from? Literally. I mean, it's just unexplainable. And with her, and I had to call in. I was like, there's no way I can keep my mouth shut about this, because I can't stand that woman. I think everything she does is for the wrong reason, and I think everything that she does is for her personal benefit.
Oh, sure.
Even though it's the most heinous thing that anybody could ever do, but she seems to not care. She seems to be okay with it.
I agree. Yeah, she does.
Well, I appreciate you answering my call. You're the best. Keep seeing you. Love watching you. Keeping up with all the things Will brings. And so hopefully we can get some answers on how this, he like in my book, he was a cop because, like I said, he was 2 weeks from graduating. And the least thing that they could have done was given him his badge. So I was glad to see that. But other than that, the DA for Worcester or whatever the hell county it is a joke. So, but we could talk for hours.
Yeah.
But
all right. Thank you for calling. I really appreciate you.
hey, no problem, Will. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, folks. Yeah, this is amazing. So, the GoFundMe is now at $12,852 out of a $15,000 goal. So 295 people have donated. This is amazing. And I'll read it real quick. Justice for Enrique Delgado Garcia. We appreciate everyone's prayers, humbled and thankful for everyone's concerns, donations, and contributions as we mourn the unexpected loss of our dearest and beloved son, brother, cousin, and friend, Enrique. May God bless all who have shown care, concern, and support in any way during this time. And it is organized by Sandra Garcia. And I'll refresh it one more time. And yes, $12,852, guys. I am blown away. You guys are amazing. Amazing. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm only going to keep this one at 2 hours instead of 3 because I was live earlier. And I'm glad that we got to end things on this positive note here because I think we were all a little pissed off after that press conference and a little confused. And I was a little short-tempered with the people who were short-tempered with me. And I'm glad that we got to end things on a good note today. So I'll probably, hopefully, I will be going live tomorrow morning. Most definitely tomorrow morning, there is a hearing for Robert Devine in regards to the Sandra Birchmore case. So I should be streaming that live when that takes place. So please make sure to tune in for that. And now, hopefully tomorrow, I will go live again. I'll try to make up as much time as I'm going to lose with you guys because I am going on vacation Thursday. So I am going to miss you guys for a few days. It's definitely throughout the weekend. But I'll try to hang out with you guys as much as I can until then. Because I know I'm going to miss you guys a lot. And ditto, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely amazing. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for hitting the like. And I see people are saying, let's get Will to 40,000 subscribers. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love to be at 40,000 subscribers. I'd love to hit 50,000 before the end of the year. That would be amazing. But, we'll see. But for all of you new subscribers, I hope you do enjoy the channel. And thank you guys for hitting the like and all your support. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I love you very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.